Video's recording. Oh, that's great. That's working great.
iPhone on silent mode.
Yeah, dude. And then I'm going to hit record audio. All right, it's working. Here comes. This is the show. You've all come here for it. Let's make one in 3, 2, 1.
The voice you hear is coming to you from Project Delphi. For security reasons, the operation of your vehicle is now in our control.
The morning stream. They wouldn't give us any more fish.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to TMS. It is Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024. I'm Scott Johnson, and that is Bobby Frankenberger.
Hello!
Hey, man, you're not Brian Ibbott at all. That's not who you are.
I can pretend to be, but I will fall short.
That's right. You will fail miserably. Brian is out. He is sick. He got Tina's chest virus flu bug thing, and it wrecked his night.
A lot of words.
Yeah, he was up all night and couldn't sleep, and also super sick, coughing already. It's not a great time for the virus. Well, it is a great time for viruses. The viruses are winning right now. They're having a great time, and it's the rest of us that are suffering.
There's like a COVID surge going on.
There is.
We don't talk about COVID very much anymore because it's endemic, but there is a surge going on, as well as the yearly flu surge. And that's going to be it, right? Yearly COVID surge as well.
Yeah, that's just kind of how it'll be. This one's pretty significant in terms of, I guess, size compared to previous surges. But, yeah, about half the people who are sick that I know have the flu or strep, and then the other half have some level of COVID. This is just the world we live in now. All right.
I never got it.
You never got COVID, dude?
I made it all the way to now, and I still haven't. Well, you have to be you have to be precise about how you talk about it, right? Like, I never tested positive for COVID.
Oh, gotcha.
Because that doesn't mean you never had it. It just means you never tested positive. Maybe you had it when you never tested, and you just got over it really quickly, and then that made it so that you never got, you know what I mean? Like, it helped boost your immunity in the meantime.
Yeah, maybe you were asymptomatic for all you know. You have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. So I never tested positive, never went through all the symptoms that, like you had it, right?
Yeah, it sucked. I hated it.
Yeah, exactly.
The worst. I don't know why I got to be the atypical recipient. Why do I have to be all the worst symptoms for the exact run time it's supposed to take to get through you? From A to B, or A to Z, I matched every criteria of a stupid COVID infection.
Well, if there are any long COVID listeners right now, they're gonna say you did not get it the worst.
That's true. No, well, I don't think it was definitely not the worst. I have some friends. I got a friend in Provo here, not far from me, who is still just everyday issues from his original COVID. He got back in early 2020, so like pre-vaccine, pre-everything. He just got that big gnarly one. That's
definitely a long COVID thing then.
Oh, yeah. And his doctors are, like, trying everything, but, there's not a lot. They still
don't know a lot about long COVID. They don't know exactly what causes it, what makes it stick around for so long. Speaking of a podcast that I do, All Around Science.
Yeah.
We just talked about it recently, an update on where the science is, and while we have learned some things about it, the truth is that we still don't know very much about what causes long COVID.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating.
It is
for
frustrating.
A lot of people.
Yeah, I don't like it. No, sir, I don't. I'm like that horse on Ren and Stimpy. I don't like it. No, sir, I don't. Do you remember that? I love that.
God, remember Ren and Stimpy? What a great show.
It was great until they tried to do the new episodes on Spike, and then everybody saw what he really wanted to do with those characters, and it changed everything about it, and it was awful. It was terrible.
Oh, I never saw those. Was it Nickelodeon was always keep reining it in?
Well, there's two things at play. John Kay, who was the creator, was constrained somewhat by Nickelodeon, but he also pushed the limits a lot over there, which made which made that cartoon kind of edgy and cool, and everybody liked it.
Right.
Well, it turns out the kinds of things he wanted to do with these characters way over the top compared to the rules you might have at a cable network. So for whatever reason, the Spike people are like, bring it on, whatever you got. And that, even just that first episode, I kind of was like mouth open. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe what they were doing.
Wow.
And it was kind of just shocking. It fundamentally changed the characters. Like, it was just a terrible idea. It's the reason it didn't last. It's just like petered out almost immediately because people are like, this is not Ren and Stimpy. What the hell is this thing you're doing?
Right.
It was bad. And then that John K. guy got in all kinds of trouble for his own little version of a Me Too lifestyle business. So, yeah, it's a bummer because he's very influential. I think the entire quote-unquote adult animation world they benefit from really three main factors in terms of their branching out with creativity. The Simpsons, Ren and Stimpy, and what's the third one? The third one would be... I would give it to... Who would I give it to? I would give it to another one that I can't think of right now. I don't know. I'm really into that scene, though. I love that stuff.
So was John Kay the one who was the artist?
Yeah, he's the artist creator.
Because that art was really influential, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like
huge.
You see it in SpongeBob.
Oh, South Park's the other one I was going to say, by the way. South
Park, yeah.
But yeah, you see it in SpongeBob, like the weird close-up, disgusting shots they do in SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that any of these other hits are hit as hard without Ren and Stimpy laying the groundwork. But as always, I guess never meet your heroes or whatever. How's it work?
Rocko's Modern Life. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I like that. That was fun.
That was a great show.
I liked all the early Nickelodeon stuff.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of Adult Swim, and I like a lot of Cartoon Network, and I like all those things.
Oh, yeah. I've been wanting to rewatch Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Ah, yeah. They got new episodes of that.
Do they?
Yeah. They just
came
out. Yeah, and they're apparently pretty good. I've not watched them yet, but yeah, I liked Aqua Teen.
What a good show.
Yeah. Aqua Teen in the Hood, G, or however it did it. Anyway, let's get going here. We got a bunch of stuff to cover. And, I guess I didn't thank you for joining us today. So thank you, Bobby, for being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. Jeez.
I know. I almost blew it. So we got a couple of things here. I went to the dentist yesterday right after the show, or pretty close to that after I posted. And
right.
It was to fix a filling that they discovered was cracked, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or something before the holidays. And then I got sick, so I had to cancel my appointment. Then when I went to go, the doctor canceled the appointment. He had something come up. Mm-hmm. So we're both like, just put it in January. It was not a big deal. It's not the kind of tooth that was about to go south or something. It was just a simple crack. So I go in there and yesterday, and I get in. And first of all, when they change things up, they make me nervous. The lady who usually does my cleaning, and I really like her, shows up first. And I'm like, do they not know I'm here for like an actual procedure? They're doing another cleaning, and like that's I thought she was there for. But no, she sits down. She says, I'm going to administer your numbing today.
Did she say numbing?
Yeah, she did. She didn't say Novocaine. She didn't say shots. She didn't say needles or, any of other reference. Just, I'm in charge of your numbing today. I'll administer your numbing is how she put it. And I went, oh, you do that too? Crap, this feels like an experiment. Am I in a learning hospital? Like, what are we doing? Like, I kind of panic a little bit. And I don't like it. I don't like the feeling of new people doing new stuff that normally a dentist with 30 years experience.
Yeah, it's like when you go to the doctor's office or the hospital, they're like, oh, so and so here is a student at the university, and you're like, oh geez, are they going to be touching me?
Yeah. We're gonna have this we're gonna have the janitor insert your catheter.
Yeah, and, we're doing some cross training.
Yeah, so good luck. Anyway, so she sits down, and I have to say, normally I got like a nerve ball. I've talked about this on the show. But in the back rear, both sides of my jaw, whenever there's work on the bottom, they have to put it back in that back corner. And most people just pull it out. Fine.
Yeah.
With me, they always have to go through some tight little nerve ball that's like in the way. Yeah. And they have to push past it. And if they hit it just right, it sends like a shockwave over my whole head. And when that happens, I can tell that I'm going to be numb till like 4 p.m. That's how it'll be. And it'll be my eye and my whole tongue and everything. Well, this time, so I'm bracing for it. Just mouth open. She goes, now relax your tongue a little. Yeah. I'm like, well, I barely know you. We got to take me to dinner or something before I do any of this, right? Just kidding. So I tried to do that, and she was so good with this. Like, it was the most, I won't call it pleasant, but it was the most pain-free dental injections have been for me, maybe my entire life. She nailed it. And it got number quicker. Usually it takes me longer, and they usually have to do a second one just to beef things up.
Wow.
She nailed it the first time. It happened very quickly. In fact, so quickly that I was worried they were going to take forever to get in there to get it done, and I was going to start losing it before they started doing the work, which is one of my worst nightmares. Anyway, she did great. Fear number 1, assuaged.
See, now if you were one of my kids, I would say, you see, now the lesson we learned is that sometimes it's okay to try new things.
Yeah, see? That's right. Parenting 101 with Bobby. So anyway, that all went fine. Doctor comes in, and he says, "Oh, man, how you doing?" I said, I'm good. And we shook hands, and he's as good a friend as he is my dentist. We've known each other since 2004 we started using him.
That's good that you got a relationship like that.
Yeah, and he's great. I totally trust him. He's very professional. He's the one thing I like about him the most. I've said it on the show before, but he invests heavily in the latest dental tech.
Right.
So if there's a new hot laser thing, he's got it. If they're doing a fancier camera thing and a new way of taking that data and crunching it and doing something cool with it. Oh, don't use the word crunch when you're talking about dentists. But anyway, the point is all of that
Only
stuff.
the best for
Right.
Hall of Fame podcaster Scott Johnson.
That's right. It's all pulled out. It's all for me. And and I do like that about it because I'm a big believer in following where innovation takes you and that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyway, he says, "How you doing? Sorry about last time." I said, "Oh yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, I heard you were sick." I said, "Yeah, I had like a strep-like throat thing that wasn't COVID and it wasn't strep, but whatever it was gnarly. It's one of the worst sore throats I ever had in my life. It took like 6 days and a little bit of a sinus infection." He says, "Oh yeah, that sounds rough. My household during the holidays was just kids throwing up, just barfing. And I went, "Oh, that's not my favorite thing in the world." And then he says, "I can't do it. I can't throw up. Can't even make myself do it." And I realized we have a new thing in common. I've got a streak going from 2005 where I've not barfed in nearly, well, I guess next year it'll be 20 years. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. And anyway, I say that to him, and he goes, "Oh, no way. Something. And then they just kept going. After he shoves all the shit in my mouth, or starts to, they just want to keep telling stories about, "Oh, yeah, last time I had to throw up, I think I sat on that bathroom floor and like stared at that toilet for half an hour, and I just couldn't get it done." And they kept, and then the girl would pipe in and go, "Oh, well, not me. I got to throw up immediately. If I don't feel well at all, I just puke as soon as I can puke." And they're doing this while they're putting giant dam blocker things in my mouth, like a big old rubber thing that I have to put in the rear so my mouth won't shut. And then on the other side, a whole bunch of gauze and little plates and stuff. And like she's putting wedges in this little metal thing he wrapped around the tooth. And like they're on the verge of having me break my streak because they're gagging me to death. I'm going to hurl right there in the chair.
Do you worry that he feels like threatened by your record and he's got the power to like activate your gag reflex?
Oh, he 100% could make me barf. 100% he could. I don't know if he was tempted.
Be like, "Boop, boop. Oh, whoops, looks like I'm the winner now."
Yeah, he was. They went on for 10 minutes talking about this and how, I wish I could throw up. I know I need to. And I'm like, "Yeah, no, this is great. Can we wait till I'm done? Can we wait till I'm off of this? Can we talk about something else?"
Do you feel when they're in your mouth like that and you can barely talk, or you can't really talk, but they're talking, do you feel compelled to like make noises to participate in the conversation?
100%, and I did it during this.
That's the same as me. I'm always like,
I'll do a lot of like I agree or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know why I do that. Even when he was talking to her and he was saying, "Oh, you remember in the 90s how something," and I'd go, like I don't know why. I don't know why.
I do the same thing, and I know exactly why I do it. It's because I'm so anxious that they're going to think that I'm not interested, which is a stupid thing to think.
Yeah.
Like they don't care. First of all, they're just doing their job.
Right.
Second of all, they know I can't talk.
Of course.
I don't know. But I get inside my own head about it, and I'm like, I need to make sure that I'm letting them know that I am interested in what they're talking about.
Yeah, like it's something. I feel like I'm in some kind of social contract, and I can't just like
exactly.
not do my fiduciary agreement. to talk to them. But anyway, everything went fine. It was once they got in there, it was quick. It still hurt a little, but I wasn't going to tell them because I was just like, I can't numb very well down there, even at the and it was the best numbing I've had. I can still feel it. Like, it doesn't matter. I got nerve issues down there. Up top, no problem, dude. You could almost not give me the shot, and you could do the uppers. It freaking doesn't hurt at all. I don't know what my deal is. It's like the gravity has taken all my nerves down into here, and they all just hang out down here. Yeah. I don't know. It's been that way since I was a kid, so F off, teeth. You're the worst. Also, somebody told me the other day the only part of your skeleton that you'll ever wash is your teeth.
Is
and I thought about that. Now, the problem is this. It's not contiguous bone, right? It's your jawbone, right? Mm-hmm. It's like if I cut into my arm, this is kind of gross, but I cut into my arm and I look at my ulna or something. Wait, is that one of the arm ones?
I think so, yeah.
I think it is. I took
It's in the forearm, I believe. I think it allows you to rotate or something.
I was required by my commercial art teacher in college to take a massive course of anatomy, and we used it in our art stuff because we got to go to the university and draw cadavers and people, they would flay arms open on a table with a cadaver, and then we would get to draw the muscle structure and where the bones connected and all that. It was actually kind of great, but terrifying at the same time. Anyway, so that's why I think I remember some bones. But anyway, the point is, if I cut that open and look, you'd see my white bone peeking out, Yeah, and that's the only time you're ever going to see that is either an accident or a surgery or something like that. And this person was saying, well, the only part of your skeleton you ever clean or ever see or touch outside of those circumstances are your teeth. But that doesn't sit right with me because teeth are real easy to pull out, and they go into like a gum thing, and then they got like nerves and roots, but the roots end. They don't just keep going down into your jaw like the bone isn't contiguous, right?
Right.
So F that guy and his dumb idea. That's what I'm saying.
F that guy.
Yeah, screw him. All right, we got another thing here to talk about. And that is Brian and I brought up the Cobblepot, Oswald Cobblepot stuff for Batman 2, and we continue the relationship here. Or relationship discussion is what I meant to say. And somebody wrote in, gave us a text without a name, so sorry, whoever you are, I don't have your name, but they sent it into 801-471-0462 and said, for the Copperpot confusion on Wednesday's show, Chester Copperpot was a character from the Goonies. Now, this is where I get to make an admission to the world that I'm not exactly proud of, but as a child of the 80s, you're required to see the Goonies.
Yeah, that's true.
I've never seen. I even own the Goonies on DVD or Blu-ray or something.
Wow.
I've never seen the original The Goonies.
You know what that sounds like to me?
Sounds
like a perfect excuse to go on to our friend Travis's podcast.
You know what? I've been on in a while. Maybe this is the one. I'd love to put it behind me, right? Because it appears to be culturally to be as important as, I don't know, seeing Raiders of the Lost Ark or A New Hope or anything that shaped us as kids around then.
It is, yeah.
It feels like
it is a cultural touchstone. You should definitely see it for that reason. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't know how it holds up. There's some movies that, you got to see this movie, and you're like, oh, this is not interesting, or
yeah, we're kind of unwatchable.
But there are some
now
that definitely hold up. Like Jurassic Park, I think, is one of those ones that just holds up wonderfully.
Yeah, of course.
But
Jurassic Park is on my list of movies I think that are perfect.
It's in my top 10 movies of all time for sure.
Yeah, it's a perfect movie. Other examples might be, let's stay
I will never be able to guess.
Well, let's stay in the same era for now. We'll say Back to the Future is a perfect film, in my opinion. And when people say, what do you mean by perfect? My definition, I've done this on Film Sex Patreon before, but my definition of perfect is it's a combination of pacing. It's mostly pacing, timing, and direction that make up a perfect film. Everything, all the other elements can fit wherever, but you just kind of know it when you've seen it. You know that was perfect. I think Raiders is a perfect film. I think that, there's so many. Actually, a recent example would be Edge of Tomorrow, I think is a perfect film. It's perfectly constructed. to be what it is and be as entertaining as it is. And I would put in that list, of course, Mad Max Fury Road. Okay, moving on.
Sure.
Anyway, to the Cobblepot, Chester Copperpot thing, I'll just have to take your word for it. Here's what I know about Goonies. I know there's a mom who's kind of evil or something. I know that she's got a son with like one eye or something like that. He's all like deformed. I don't know much about him. I just know he exists in there. And I know there's a fat kid who acts like he gets shot with a machine gun out in the yard. Because I've seen the meme. And that's it. So, and it's got Short Round in it.
Right.
Oh, and young versions of Thanos and other kids that are now old.
He hasn't learned how to snap yet.
No. It was early days. Early days for Thanos. He'd get there, though. He'd get there. Anyway.
What about, before we leave the movie topic, I did have one. Do you think Die Hard is one of those?
Yes,
types of
Die
movies?
Hard is a perfect film. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So too. Perfect action movie.
One of these days I should just make a definitive list, because when I did this for FilmSack, I just kind of thought of a handful and then talked about them. But I'll bet I could come up with something that's just like a big giant list of things you could just see anytime, always find them enjoyable, never really tire of them. And it's a smaller list than you think.
Yeah.
And there are a few that I would put in there that I don't think I want to see all the time, but I also think they're kind of perfect. Like, I think Goodfellas is a perfect film, but I don't want to see it every other day. I want chunks of time between me and my viewings of that, you know?
And in that regard, there are plenty of movies that you probably really love, but don't consider them to be perfect movies. Right.
Like, for example, the black and white Nebraska movie, Alexander Payne movie from some years ago. I loved that movie.
Right.
It is an amazing film. And I do want to see it again, but I don't want to constantly see it again. It's hard to explain. So I wouldn't call it a perfect movie, but I would call it a great movie. And there are plenty of those. And they don't always line up with what the rest of the world thinks is a perfect film. So I realize this is a very personal thing, you know?
Of course.
I mean, do you have one like Fury Road where you just love it and you can't stop thinking about it?
There is one movie that if it's on, I will have to watch it. And I do try to watch it every once in a while. And it's a guilty pleasure kind of movie. Everyone thinks I'm not crazy, but they laugh when they hear, like, one of my all-time favorite movies is the Kevin Costner Robin Hood movie.
Oh, that's a good time.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah, it's a good time. Great time.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
I've loved it since I was like, I don't know. First time I saw it had to have been like 6 years old.
Yeah, you had to have been a wee boy then.
Yeah.
Thinking.
Yeah.
I would have been. I
love that movie.
What are you, 10 years younger than me or something? A little more.
84 is when I was born.
Jeez. So you're 14 years younger than me. So I was 14, going girls and stuff when you were born.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it is good to know. I will say this to your credit. You're a young soul, or an old soul. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. You're an old soul. I don't normally think of people who are 14 years younger than me as an older soul, but you seem to be someone.
I had an 8th grade, my homeroom English teacher in 8th grade said the same thing, because I was always talking about like listening to really old classic rock of the time. Like I was constantly talking about like Led Zeppelin and and she said the same thing. Because I was into older stuff. She was like, "You are older than you look."
Yeah. And my daughter's like that. Carter's like that. Carter, you over there? Oh, I thought she was here. Your dog's here. Oh, hi, Ripley. Sorry, Ripley just showed up. What are you doing in here? I can't play with you right now. Hey, Carter, call your dog. Where is she? Taking a lake run herself. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, let's move on to this. Speaking of movies, we got a call about Zack Snyder's new film. I don't know if anyone will agree with this, but I'm going to play it, and we're going to talk about it. Here you go.
Hey, this is Rocky from Denton, Maryland. I'm just going to say that Zack Snyder might have did the best Star Wars. Bye. Love the show.
That's a bold statement. Zack Snyder, and he's talking about Rebel Moon. That's what he means. Because that's the new thing. And it's very Star Wars-ish. And in fact, it was pitched as a Star Wars film to Disney, and they rejected it, so he did his own.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, reviews are bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I haven't seen it yet. I can't say. I'm sure that I'm sure I'm going to find some enjoyment out of it because I just generally do with Zack Snyder movies. I don't think he's as bad as everyone says. It depends on the film. I think Justice League was terrible. His remake was, or his remaster, or whatever the hell, his cut of it was better, but it was still not great. I love 300. I really like the 2004 Dawn of the Dead remake that he did. I thought that was really good, and I quite like Watchmen, but everything else kind of hit and miss with me. And Rebel Moon sounds like one that probably will miss more than it hits. Right now, it's at 24% on Rotten Tomatoes from the reviewers. Yeah, 60% from readers. But once again, it just feels like one of those divisive things. You either love what Zack Snyder's up to. Almost call him Snack Snyder.
Snack Snyder.
Yeah.
What a snack.
But anyway, the point is, I don't know if saying it's the best Star Wars movie is going to get you too much agreement out there. I mean, even from the people who like it, I think it's just its own movie. And I mean, he cribbed things from Star Wars, like these people use straight up lightsabers in this movie.
Oh.
I think there's some kind of mystical forcey shit going on.
Wow.
I don't know. A lot of very Star Warsy looking business. You know, space religion and all that.
Get their powers from Jedichlorians.
Ooh, Jedichlorians. No, they get it from chlorine. Is what they do.
Spending too much time in the pool.
That's right. That's right. I'll never forget when somebody, maybe you can confirm this because of your science show, but is it true that the reason chlorine smells like chlorine is only when it reacts with pee, and that's what makes it smell strong? Otherwise, you'd never notice it in a pool that was fresh. Say a pool, no one's been in it, no bacteria in there, nothing yet, and that's supposedly that chlorine smells like nothing. Is that true?
No, I think the smell is just what chlorine smells. I could be wrong about this, but I think I remember it means that you just have too much chlorine in the pool. It shouldn't smell if you have the right amount.
All right, so it's not supposed to, because what I was told is it only smells when it interacts with urine, human urine, and that's what gives the chlorine the smell it gives. Is what I was told. I was told this from a source.
A quick Google search says that that's true. Chlorite NCl3 is formed when organic matter is so it might not just be urine, though. It could be like sweat and other things, just not
pure
like
water,
dirty chlorine.
Yeah that's true. It doesn't have to be someone's peeing in the pool. It could just be that guy was sweaty before he got in there, or I don't know, enough people get in there after each other, and then they overdo the chlorine to kill all that, which makes it all that much stronger. I don't know.
Yeah, so
that's a little side thing for you folks. Chew on that for a while. Finally, before we get to today's news, or at least some of it, we said something about how fast food restaurants deal with their oil, how often they change it out when they're on the deep fryer and that sort of thing. And Brian was like, "Oh, it's probably like every week or 8 days or something like that." I think McDonald's was our example. Anyway, we got a call from somebody who worked at a KFC. He's a local, and I know him, and I trust him. And here's what he said.
Hello, Scott and Brian. This is for TMS, since other Brian also does play retro. It's not narrowing it down enough. Anyway, this is Hootie42. I was just listening to you guys talking about fried foods and such and McDonald's. I actually had a little bit of insight on what they do with the oil. I worked at a KFC, so not McDonald's, but KFC in high school, and the fryers got filtered every single night. We had this special filter machine with, kind of like a big, thick coffee filter on it that would filter through all the oil and get out any impurities and stuff. And the fryer that we would make, like, their fries and stuff, not the chicken, that would get changed weekly. The chicken fryers went through so much oil that we just added oil constantly. It came in big blocks of shortening The stuff that we threw out actually went into a big barrel out behind the store, and there's a place that would come pick it up, and they used it to make, of all things, cosmetics. So have a good day. Love the show. And Scott, we got to do lunch.
Yeah, we do. I keep putting them off. We keep scheduling stuff, and then stuff comes up, and then we don't go to lunch. We should go to lunch. We're not going to KFC, I can promise you that. After hearing about this block of shortening that you got to put in there. Yeah.
Well, I can think of any other chicken place I'd rather go anyway. So.
Oh, yeah, no, this KFC is my last choice on chicken. It's unfortunate because as a kid, I used to, well, whatever. You love everything when you're a kid, but I thought.
That's true.
I thought KFC was amazing when I was a kid. Pizza Hut was so good when I was a kid. And they had a restaurant then. They had a place you could sit down. It was great.
We'll ask the kids, what do you want to go? You guys pick where we go to dinner tonight. And they're always like, Cece's Pizza. I'm like, what?
What is Cece's Pizza? Should I know that, Shane?
Do you not know Cece's Pizza?
No.
Oh, Cece's is it's one of those pizza buffets.
Oh, okay.
And so they like it because there's macaroni pizza.
Over here, we have a place called Godfather's here that is definitely that. It's like stuff under a lamp, and it's been there too long.
It's
and
just bad pizza.
Yeah, I don't like.
And
I'm
like,
not a fan.
why do you want to go there? Not only are we going to eat bad pizza, but we're also going to get diarrhea.
Yeah,
like.
Yeah, you want to go out for pizza and diarrhea? But kids are great that way. They'll eat anything, man. They don't care.
It is cheap. I will give them that. But
yeah.
I used to work at Wendy's. That was my first job. I worked at Wendy's, and I can confirm that sounds about right for what we did. Was we hardly ever changed out the chicken oil because of that. You're constantly adding more because the oil sticks to the chicken, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And not a lot of it, of course, but enough of it where you have to refill it. And yeah, we would run it through a filter.
And the filter was
when
the filter
you did
was
have to change the oil.
Yeah.
When you had to change the oil, you had to wear like a big giant rubber apron and big boots and these rubber gloves all the way up to your shoulders, and it was very dangerous.
Oh yeah, a little spitting hot freaking oil. Forget it, man.
Oh yeah.
So, but did the filter, does it work? It doesn't sound like that. It's just running it through paper or whatever.
I mean, it's pretty heavy duty paper, and it's not. It works. Yeah, it works fine.
All right.
It
all sounds gross to me.
It is gross.
Yeah.
And eventually it stops working enough that you eventually do have to change the oil, but it's all gross. I think every teenager should have to work fast food before they graduate high school.
Yeah, I kind of agree, and my kids never did.
Yeah.
And I feel like I gave them a disservice. They worked at they had jobs, and they were hard jobs,
Sure,
but nobody did the fast food thing. I did. My wife did. But for whatever reason, other opportunities arose for my kids, and they never had to. And I don't know if I regret that yet or not. I guess I'll have to wait and see when.
I think there's so many good reasons to make your kids work fast food. It's very hard work.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
It's thankless. Like literally, people are yelling at you, and but that's on the other side of that. I feel like my wife didn't ever work fast food, and I feel like she's way less patient with fast food workers, and I am way more patient because I know the shit that they're dealing with.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. It'll make you much more empathic to those around you. So Nick did work at a movie theater. It's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty close to that. You know, dealing with popcorn and butter and having to hurry your ass up, and people are impatient because their movie's about to start. They got there late. They're trying to get their popcorn or their concessions or whatever. And this one had like 4 different kind of restaurant things in the main court. So if you wanted a burger, you wanted corn dogs, whatever, you could do all that.
Yeah.
And that was hard. So you know what? I did have Nick do that. I take it back.
Yeah, that's close enough, I think.
Yeah. The girls had it cushy.
I got my hot oil dropped on my hand one time, and I can't remember if 1st or 3rd degree is the worst, but it was the lesser of them. I think it's a first degree burn. 1st degree burn
is lesser than a 3rd degree burn is the worst. Yeah.
So it was almost certainly a 1st degree burn, and the the shift manager or whoever it was at the time just had me go in the back, rub some like burn cream on it, and then sit down for 10 minutes and then get back to work.
Wow. Wow.
It was
That feels like an OSHA violation, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Why have we done that as a society? We call it first-degree murder, worst kind of murder, but we call it first-degree burns, least hardcore burn. Why have we done that?
DEFCON 5.
Yeah. DEFCON 5 is low, right?
I think.
And then DEFCON 1 is when the poop is really hitting the fan. Yeah, we got to unify some of this stuff. We're
Numbers
either first
have
or
meanings,
last.
guys.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's golf. Golf did it. Because golf is like, no, you want a low score. While the rest of all competition ever is a high score. What are you doing over there? All right. Well, there's that. Let's get into some news. Probably not a lot, but a little bit. Let's do it. Today's news is brought to you by Trickster, who is just a cool dude and a nice guy, and we're glad to have him in the Frog Pants community. That's all I wanted to say about that guy. All right? Once in a while, you guys just show up, and I'm impressed with you, and I just want to mention your names. That's all. Let's talk about a Florida man. He is seen taking live fish from an indoor pond at a Bass Pro Shop. That's not good. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is searching for a male who was seen taking a live fish from this pro shop on Wednesday evening. According to the Sheriff's Office, in a release, deputies said the male entered a Bass Pro Shop in the Gulf Coast Town Center while carrying a fish net. Ooh. He then used the net to remove a live tarpon. Is that a fish? Must be a tarpon.
Tarpon.
Tarpon? Not tarpon? Yeah. All right.
Tarpon.
It says, would you like any gray tarpon? Let's see. From an indoor fish pond before fleeing the store with it. You see a guy just running with a fish. I got the fish. I'm fleeing. If you have information about this, you're supposed to call this 800 number, Crime Stoppers number, which I'm not going to announce. But I will show you a photo of the security footage of this guy stealing fish, which, in the right situation, might be us. I don't know. Yep, there he is. See, look at him. He's got a net. He comes in there. He's like, I'm getting me some fish. Yeah, there he is. Let's see. Did he run? I can't tell. This video is a bad handheld camera thing. Oh, there he is. He goes running off with it. Big old bag of fish. Well, all right then. When you need a fish, sometimes you just do whatever it takes. So good luck to him.
What? I want to know why.
That we still don't know. They got to catch the guy, I guess. My assumption is
Catch him if you can.
Let's think about it for a second. If it's a pro bass shop, these are big bass fish. What do you buy those for? Do you eat them? I guess you do.
Yeah. Why are they in the? I guess I've never been to a Bass Pro Shop. In case you couldn't tell, I'm not the Bass Pro Top. I can't even say it. That's how.
Bro Top. You're not the Bash Bro Top. Yeah.
Yeah. But why do they have a tarpon in a pond in a Bass Pro Shop? I don't understand.
I don't know. We got any smart people in the chat who know how this is? They're on display. Is it just to show them off?
Yeah.
Benjamin says pretty much pets. I don't know about that. Who's got bass pets? Because we would go down to Lake Powell and catch bass and then eat the bass. We would have a fishing license, and that's why we would catch the fish. But having them in a place, because the Bass Pro Shop is also about those tools for fishing. It's about fancy reels and rods and all the gear and the camping stuff and all that other stuff, and then bait and everything. But then there's actual live bass there. I don't understand that. That's weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like Tom Norm said in the chat that it's like a marketing thing. Like it's just like that's the Bass Pro Shop that has the live big old fish pond.
Oh, it's like Cabela's having all the or Shields, if that's where you live. These places that have like big trophy deer, like full body deer and stuff. Right. Yeah, it's to show that, hey, you're a hunter. Come on in here and look at what you're gonna kill. Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. Someone in the chat just made me laugh. Who was it? Let's see. Who was it? It's going so fast. There's so many of you in there. Oh, the boy who cried woofed says every kid should have to work at a Bass Pro Shop. That made me laugh. Nice callback. Nice work on that. Let's see. Let's rip through this story real quick. Pizza topped with 1,001 varieties of cheese was baked in France. I don't know if it's some kind of world record. It must be. It is. Guinness Book of World Records has finally recognized the pair of French pizza chefs who teamed up with a cheesemaker and a YouTube star. Oh, good. That's important.
That's a star-winning team up right there.
I don't know why you need that part. You know, like other than exposure, right? So you got somebody who's got a lot of audience or whatever, and so that's why you would do it. I'm going to assume that's the reason, because why else do you need two French guys, a plan to make 1,001 variety of cheese pizza, and a YouTube star? It sounds like the start of a terrible joke. I don't want to know the punchline for him. Anyway, this happened. Chefs Benoit Brulé and Fabien Montalancio worked with cheesemaker Sophie Hatat Richard Luna and YouTuber Florian On Air, because they never use their real names, these people.
Yeah.
To break the world record for the most varieties of cheese on a pizza. The previously set record was 254 cheeses in 2020, and it was the same person, this Brule person. But his record was later broken by Morgan Niquette, who cooked a pizza topped with 834 cheese varieties. Is there a photo of this? Because all I picture is just a giant mound of cheese. I need to see how they did this. Because if it's just a sprinkle of each cheese...
I mean, it can't be a lot, right?
Yeah. Okay, it does look kind of Chicago style now that I see it. It's thick. It's like a cake.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, this pizza holds the record. So some of this cheese is like chunks of it. Other cheeses are like sprinkles of it. As best I can tell.
Yeah, I'm looking at it too. It just looks like a regular pizza with a ton of cheese on top of it.
Yeah, this would kill you. Don't eat this. I mean, maybe a taste. But if you ate a whole slice of this, dude, you're backing yourself up for a month. Why?
Yeah, that's the real question.
The real loss here. Think of those people.
Although maybe good if you're going to be going on a long plane flight.
Oh yeah, that's true. Plug it up. Get that cork. Get the nature's cork. All right.
Google says there are only about 1,800 varieties of cheeses in the world, or close to 2,000 varieties. So they're halfway there.
So you're saying I have a chance to go even further? Well,
yeah, let's do it.
Why wasn't this 1,002 varieties or 3 divided? You know what I mean? Why 1,001? Is that a fun number? Is that why? Must be.
Marketing. We'll do 1,234, and the headline will be home chef Bobby Frankenberger and podcaster Frog Pants.
Yeah, because I don't go by my real name. Yeah.
Yeah, YouTuber Frog Pants.
Yep. Somebody told me once that the reason Frog Pants hasn't taken off on YouTube in terms of like just overall, it's been fine, but hasn't been like a big explosion or anything. I have all my own theories, but this person thinks it's because I don't have a wacky name. He told me that.
Oh, because it's just Scott Johnson.
Yeah, I'm just like most boring name ever. It's so boring and common, dude. I went to the dentist yesterday and there was a sign to the next floor up for a guy who specializes in root canals named Dr. Scott Johnson, DDS. I'm everywhere.
There might be something to that, But you would think it would work the other way, right? Like people who were looking for you would find you, right. And then other people who were looking for Scott Johnson, the root canal specialist, would also find you.
I used to be the number one Google result. Let's see if it's still true. Nope. Now it's the murder of Scott Johnson.
Oh my God! There was Scott Johnson murdered?
Yeah. It's some horrible, I guess it's a case from 88 that's all big again. Scott Johnson, gay U.S. student killer jailed in Sydney after 30 years on the run. Great. I got completely usurped. I used to be the number one result. Nope. And then right after me, or some kind of fighting with me, was this Australian rugby coach with my name. So, yeah, the goal has always been for me to be the Scott Johnson that you know, and not the one you.
The top Scott.
Not the murdered
Top
one.
Johnson.
Yeah. And don't confuse me with Scott Peterson, the murderer. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But do this. Come back after this break, because when we come back, Tom Merritt's going to join us. We're going to get a little tech time in the morning. And Reccamenntals after that with Nicole. Randy's on the road. He's traveling back from his vacation away for the holidays. So he will not be joining us today. But me and Nicole are definitely going to be here. And we're going to talk about some stuff we saw. And also I'm going to warn people about a thing I saw that I still can't quite get my head around. I still can't believe it. Anyway, to this moment, I'm still kind of in shock. I'm having, I think I had I don't have PTSD about a movie, but it's as close as I've come.
Well, consider me teased.
Yeah, Scott. You've been teased. You've been Johnsoned. Just wait for more. Anyway, before then, I want to play a song. This is one Brian forwarded to me to play today called Scarlet Tongues. And this is from a band, an American duo called The Glass Hours, which is kind of a cool name. And they have a new single from their upcoming album. And they have a self-titled studio album it drops March 1st, so that's coming soon. This is thanks to Cornelius Chapel Records. And anyway, we're talking about some cool stuff here. Brad Armstrong, Megan Barbara, and their music blurs between Sunday afternoon country folk and the golden age of the 70s. If that doesn't intrigue you, I don't know what will. Plus, this guy's got a wild beard on this album cover, so that's cool. Anyway, we're going to play that song, and when we come back, all that stuff I mentioned. So, please stay tuned.
You mustn't eat candy, Mr. Whiteside. It's very bad for you.
My great-aunt Jennifer ate a whole box of candy every day of her life. She lived to be 102, and when she'd been dead 3 days, she looked better than you do now.
We want to watch cartoons.
Hey, don't talk back to your mother.
And we've returned. That song once again was The Glass Hours, and from their new untitled album. The song is, I lost it. Where'd the song go? The song is called Scarlet Tongues, which if you have one, talk to a doctor.
Definitely see your doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, don't be messing around with that. Nobody's tongue should be scarlet. All right. Let us now call Tom. How about them apples right there? It's always good having him here. He's got stuff to say, things to share. World of technology, really, to share with his best friends. TMS in the morning. Let's play a little intro for him. Why not? Why not, I say. Where is it? Where's Tom's? Here it is.
We want Tom.
Yeah, we do. We want Tom Merritt, and good news, he's here. Tom Merritt joins us as he does every Wednesday to talk about all the cool happenings in the world of tech. Hello, Tom Merritt. How are you?
Hello, Scott Johnson. I just texted you a picture of an interesting use of Johnson's at IKEA that I saw over the weekend.
Let me check this real quick here.
If you're in the mood for romance, you might
look at
want to
that.
be like the Johnsons.
Yeah, it says the Johnsons, quote, I love traditional elegance. He loves smart home gadgets. We found a balance with lush textiles, deep colors, and practical modern upgrades that make our quality time together more romantic. Ooh, Tom, I didn't know how you felt.
I didn't know that this is how the Johnsons designed their romantic getaways until I went to IKEA.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, the name Johnson, very Swedish in origin. It's where my relatives come from, so it makes sense to me. But I've never
two S's though when they spell it.
That's a good point. Johnsons, the Johnsons.
They tend to like to double up their consonants in those Scandinavian languages.
Yeah. So. Also, IKEA stuff is usually things like Borka and Burger. It's like they don't have things like Johnson's there. It's weird.
And I do love that Kim, I think, loves traditional elegance.
She does.
You love smart home gadgets.
We do. And together, it makes for a very romantic time together.
Mm-hmm.
Well done, IKEA. You've nailed it. Well, anyway, thank you for that. Hey, Tom, it's we're back from the dumb holiday. It's time to figure stuff out. What's going on in the tech world?
Yeah. It's good. Let's get back to work.
Yeah.
2024 style, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm going to do next week when the Consumer Electronics Show happens. I can already feel the pain in my feet. Daily Tech News Show is not going in force. It's just me. But I'll be meeting up with Molly Wood and Shannon Morse and a few other people to kind of report from the floor. Sarah Lane's going to anchor the home front so she can keep track of all of the announcements that happen. That's one of the things we found in years that we didn't go to CES. We had a better chance of keeping on top of everything because you're not distracted by having to move around CES.
Yeah.
But when you're at CES, you do get to see some things and talk about some things that you might not catch otherwise.
Right.
So we're trying to do both this time. We did that last year. We sent Rich Stroffolino and Amos, and so I'll be going this year just on my own to kind of save a little money, and it'll be interesting to see what I find. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm gonna. I might use a GoPro. I might just use my phone, but I'm gonna do like video tours of the press events. Maybe the show floors, but the show floors are so massive. I'm not sure if that's going to work, if I'll have time to do that, frankly. But the press events are a little more navigable. You can walk a whole floor in less than an hour. So if people are interested in just getting a virtual look at the floor, I might be recording those and uploading them to YouTube.
Yeah, and there's plenty of, so, we've all been to conferences of different kinds, and they range in size from small and manageable to very large. I don't think people realize how big CES is. It is freaking huge.
It's bigger than it used to be, floor space wise.
Yeah.
Like they cover the expanded Las Vegas Convention Center, which is now bigger than it used to be. It also includes the Venetian and other hotel areas, the Sands, all of that. So it's massive.
Is there anything on the, I don't even know if we know. Is there anything that's leaked ahead or people are looking forward to from this particular event this year, or a thing that you expect to see?
There's the usual, like, expect every press release to include AI somehow.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that already. There's also going to be some cool wireless tech, some interesting headphone stuff with MEMS is expected. We're probably going to get a lot of Matter and smart home announcements, which we got last year. We've got the usual suspects, but there's always some surprises. So I'm interested to see what the trends are at the end versus what they are looking like at the beginning. And if you keep up with Daily Tech Headlines or Daily Tech News Show, you know that LG has been doing their usual thing of trickling out a bunch of announcements that they'll show off at CES, but they're giving you the details ahead of time. Samsung's been doing that too. And then Samsung's going to come back with an unpacked announcement on January 17th after CES. So you're going to get your Samsung Galaxy S announcement earlier this year.
I've had a few people email and say back in the 90s, 1994's CES was the last year that gaming was part of CES. It was that's where,
1994?
Yeah, Sega and all these guys would go to. No E3 yet. E3 happened in 95.
Oh, I see.
So E3 happens the very next year, and then there's a big shift. There was a little trickle. There was more of a trickle away, though, over time, because there was still some stuff at CES for a couple of years, but most of it moved to E3. And I'm getting these emails now going, well, with E3 gone, do you think that CES will pick up any of that slack? Will we see anybody exhibit there? Like, will Microsoft have an Xbox Studios maybe small thing, or will somebody else?
That would be interesting, since Microsoft doesn't have a booth at CES. Hasn't had for years.
Yeah, that's true.
They just show up at other people's announcements and do private appointments and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting if Xbox went to the show floor. I kind of don't expect that, though.
No.
I think Game Developer Conference, GDC, is probably your best bet to pick up a lot of the E3 slack that doesn't go independent, right? Like Sony and Nintendo just doing their own announcements, I think, is where you're going to see the bigger folks go.
Yeah, and the Game Awards and the Summerfest and all that Jeff Keighley stuff sort of picks up all the showy bit of it, and then all the behind the
kind of
scenes
stuff that would go to CES, I feel like, goes to GDC, and then Keighley's going to pick up a lot of the fun, let's show some game trailer stuff, which is cool, and he does a great job at it, and then the bigger folks will have their own events, and it'll be E3 distributed, a different E in different parts.
Oh, there you go. I like
all
that.
three together.
Move your E's about a little bit.
You'll have some electronics over here, some entertainment over there, your expo over there.
And this year doesn't compete with the Adult Entertainment Expo, I don't believe. So you're safe there. So you won't walk into the wrong hall, as far as I know. But that used to be a thing. They always put it at the exact same time.
Yeah, it's been a few years since that was the same, because the Adult Entertainment Expo got too big. They just couldn't share the city anymore.
Yeah, they can't. It's literally the city for these events now.
Yeah, it really is.
Our very own KT Data will be there bumping around. I kind of hope he runs into you and you guys.
Give me a shout out, KT Data. I'd love to say hi.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna pick on him for for checking in on him for a little TMS results here as well. So TMS may be a great place with Tom and him combined. We're going to have the greatest reporting of CES of all time, ever.
Yes.
Except not true.
That's not the news today, though.
Oh, what's the news today? Tell me more.
Is that a human beat Tetris.
What? Hold on. Kill screen style or what?
Yeah,
what?
kill screen.
Wait, beat it.
Beat it.
We have known for the last couple of years that 157 was the max level because people have used machine models to play through and beat it. But no human had done it until Willis Gibson, 13-year-old Willis Gibson in Oklahoma.
Of course, it was a 13-year-old.
Reactions of a 13-year-old, exactly. Uploaded a video on YouTube of him playing through in 38 minutes, 157 levels of Tetris, causing the game to crash and stop releasing new blocks.
Oh my gosh, that's a kill screen is everyone's goal if you're into that stuff, and can't believe he did it. Oh, there's
over 4 levels per minute.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
There's apparently a strategy that I was unfamiliar with before today called hyper tapping, that is described as vibrating your fingers in a way that can move the controller faster than the in-game speed.
Yep, this is correct. It's also how speedrunners do it with a lot of different games, actually, not just Tetris. But this kid probably, and they also hold their controller real weird. I'm not looking at video yet. I'm going to go check the stream out later, but it's apparently all up on Twitch. But they hold it really funky. They don't hold it like you hold your controller at home, everybody. They hold it in a very weird way. I assume this is the NES version of the game. Let's see.
Yeah, it's the Nintendo NES,
okay.
The classic 1989 version.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So this is Tetris before they added the feature of holding a piece for later. A lot of people think that's just standard Tetris. That came out like Tetris 2 or some way later version of Tetris. The original, you had no piece in reserve. So not only is this kid doing this to a kill screen, he doesn't have any long pieces up in his corner that he can pull out anytime he feels like. It's impressive. Now we got to get him working on, what girls will date a boy like that,
I imagine he might not have a problem with the kind of notoriety he has and the world we live in of internet fame.
Yeah.
What he does have is a bunch of people trying to beat his 38-minute speed record already. People are out there,
People get fired up immediately about this stuff. You can have stuff go kind of stale in the speedrunning. This isn't really speedrunning, but in that world, you can have a record go stale for a decade, and then somebody will come out of nowhere, beat it by 0.32 seconds, and then that entire world explodes, and 50 more people are trying to get it because they can't believe somebody broke this unbeatable record. It's actually really fun if you get into some of that. I could never play like that, but it's fun to watch. Yeah, it's cool.
And I guess that's where we're at with Tetris now. Now that there's a kill screen, now it's speed running. Like, how fast can you do it?
Yeah. So good luck to everybody. I hope that kid holds that record for a long time, and he's got a cool mullet. So happy for him. This and many other stories can be found on the Daily Tech News Show, and today is Wednesday, which means I'll be on there. Tom is still in town, so he'll be there, of course. And I guess you'll be there next week too, just in a different way, in a more remote way.
Yeah, I'll be on the show. Let's see. Let me look at my calendar, if you don't mind, real quick.
Please
to make
do.
sure I've got the right dates. But I think on Wednesday next week is when we have one. Nope. We don't know who's on Wednesday. You're on Wednesday.
I'm on Wednesday.
But not from CES. Surprise guest coming next Wednesday. Who would you like to be on our CES?
Oh my gosh,
anybody. The way we're doing it next, as I mentioned, is we're going to have me there with somebody, and then Sarah and you on Wednesday anchoring it from outside of CES. So I'm looking to fill that slot. We'll have Molly Wood on Tuesday the 9th and Shannon Morse on Thursday the 11th.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm happy to be in that sandwich. Those two are awesome people. We'll try to hold one. We'll try to be the good meat you want on your sandwich on Wednesday.
Indeed, right? A Johnsonville brat.
There you go. That's a callback, folks. That'll do it for us. Tom, anything else going on? Let's tell people where they can find more of your cool business.
Yeah, I got a really nice note today from somebody who has been following DTNS and Daily Tech Headlines for a long time and recently subscribed to my tech newsletter, the paid version of which comes out every day. It's free freetechnewsletter.com gets you a free edition once a week. And this person was just very complimentary about the format of the newsletter and how it's supplemental. And he's like, I don't even need to use any other sources anymore. I just listen to DTNS, read the newsletter, and I get all the news I need. I'm always the most informed in the room. When somebody brings up a tech story, I'm like, oh yeah, I heard about that. So if you would like to be like him, go check it out, freetechnewsletter.com. You can just sign up for the free version to try it out. And if you want to get it every day, pay a little extra to do that. That's freetechnewsletter.com.
Very nice. Tom Merritt, everybody. Watch him as he goes. A weird way of sending somebody off, but whatever. I'm doing new stuff today. Okay. Check it out, you guys. It's 2024. You know what that means? Nothing, really. We're just going to do this segment like we always do, and we're going to add Nicole to the call. I'm glad she's on because with Brian being sick and Randy on the road, I don't have enough Reccamenntals to do it on my own. Also, I gave Bobby no time this morning.
Yeah, I've pulled it out that quick before, but this morning was...
You were busy, man.
Chores, as we said earlier.
Yeah, the fact that you were willing to come on at all is good enough for me. Oh, why am I getting a Reccamenntals planning ring? That's weird. I think Nicole thinks she's in the wrong room. Let's see. Oh, there she is. I see her there. Ah, you're fine. Let's do this.
Well, what do you recommend?
I recommend things on streaming services, movies, TV shows, and more. And joining us today, Nicole Spag. Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
That's right.
How late did you stay up?
Oh, gosh. I think I made it to 11:30. And
what?
then
You almost...
Because I conked out on the couch, and we don't really care about watching a ball drop. So
yeah.
So here's what I did. At about 11:15, I texted Taylor and I said, "Hey, are the little ones up?" And she said, "No, they went to bed at like 8." I'm like, okay.
Does she do the fake ball drop with them?
I don't know. Something to that effect. Yes, she wanted them.
We do that too. We Netflix used to have some really cool stuff, but I can't find it anymore.
Oh, weird. Maybe they got rid of it. That's weird. I remember that too. They had they got rid of their fire too, their Christmas fire. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I don't know why they got rid of that stuff. I loved it.
Jerks. I think what happened is probably people would turn that fire thing on and not turn it off for like 5 days during Christmas. And that's a lot of bandwidth if enough people are doing it. And they probably were just like, why are we doing this? This seems like a waste of money. But anyway, so I called her, said to the kiddos up because I want to celebrate with them. We'll do a little FaceTime. Let's do this. She's no, they're long asleep. So I shut my phone, told her Happy New Year, put it in my pocket, sat back on the couch, watching whatever we were watching. And next thing I know it, I'm dead asleep. It's 2 a.m. I get up off the couch and go to bed. So it was lame. I'm
How about
old.
you, Bobby? Did you stay up till midnight?
Yes, this is the first year that my kids both made it the entire time. Last year they were awake at midnight, but it's because they wanted us to wake them up, and they had fallen asleep on the couch. But this year they were both awake, and everybody was happy and not grumpy, and we had a good time. I like staying up till midnight. I like watching the ball drop, and New Year's is one of my favorite holidays.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
I think it's
Just new beginnings and hopefulness and
I think that's
all
what
of
it is.
that.
I'm kind of an optimist at heart, and sort of I like that it represents change and starting over and trying again and all that kind of stuff. And it's also like one of the few secular holidays which I like.
Yeah. I like it because I'm like, oh, I survived the year.
Right.
Yeah, I feel that way too. Or I like to think that the new year has a ton of possibilities, and it won't be until November that I complain about the previous year. Because
especially for me, last year was just dookie. So,
yeah, you didn't have a great 2023. I'm glad you're over that hump, though. Very glad. About that.
Well, I'm still on the path, but I'm like way better.
Yeah.
So. I'm kind of getting back into things, and I told you in the chat, but I'm going to tell you here because Mateo is very adamant that I express how wonderful the game Pizza Tower is.
Yeah.
And so this kid, are you familiar with this game?
I am, yes. So basically, for those at home who aren't familiar with it, it's a platformer that is based very heavily on, but I think supersedes the old Wario games that Nintendo used to make for the Game Boy and stuff. They were amazing games, and they were really cool spins on platforming
Well, it's
style.
like that rushy kind of game,
Yeah.
Sonic-y. It you're rushing through, and like Super Meat Boy kind of. And
A
I'm
little
like,
bit,
I
yeah.
saw him.
Yeah.
I saw him playing. I'm like, yep, that's not for me.
Yeah. It's
And
a
this
very
kid-
cool game. A lot of people thought it should have been like the indie award winner of the year, but it
And that's
got,
what he thought too. So he wanted me to express that to you, that Pizza Tower is his game of the year, and that this kid, he did what it's called P level, which is like a perfect level.
Yeah.
He did P level on all of the levels.
Wow. He's better than me
Like-
then.
He reminded me of the Tetris kid.
Yeah.
There is something about being around that age where you are just a monster at these things, and
Right.
it sounds like that's where he's
yeah.
at. That game's awesome. Tell him he's right and that I approve this message. 'Cause it's very good.
So, there you go. I keep forgetting to tell you.
It's very good. It's on Steam, everybody. I think on sale till the 4th, so it might be.
Oh, it's on sale
tomorrow. Yeah, so I think it's like, I don't know, $5-6 off or something right now.
Oh my God.
Anyway, it was already kind of inexpensive. I think it's $20, so that's probably 15 right now.
Yeah, it's an inexpensive
Yeah,
game.
not bad.
I might have to check it out. My daughter's gotten into side scrollers with Mario Wonder. So.
Oh, I bet she'd like this.
Yeah.
I'll bet she'd like it. It's very different, very throwback in a lot of ways, and it kind of has this 90s aesthetic to it that I really appreciate. It's very good.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, let's get to it. Nicole, we're going to start with you. In lieu of Brian not being here, we're going to start with your recommendation. And I got you a clip together for the thing you mentioned. I hope we're still good on that one, right? Okay, good.
Yeah. That's what we're good on, because that's the only thing that my son has been watching. So therefore, I have been watching it.
All right.
And it's on Netflix. I don't know. I got lots of thoughts. So let's...
All right. Let's go to the clip and then we'll find out. Here you go.
I have an extra person in this game, somebody I know I can trust, and I don't know if everybody's going to have their mom in this game. I don't think so, so I'm lucky.
Please, for the love of God, make it through this challenge for me, okay?
I will get through this challenge. I swear I will. I've been practicing.
Bend your knees. Bend the useful knee that you have.
My mom, she was like a superstar athlete. She's going to outlast me and embarrass me in front of all my family and friends.
Oh, the squids are playing games again.
Yep, the squids are playing games. This is the reality show version of the Squid Game.
What's the full name? It's Squid Game something.
The
Challenge? I think the Challenge, right?
Probably the Challenge.
Okay. I'll look that up in a sec while you're talking.
So I will just say I have not been a fan of reality TV for a very long time. When the hell did Survivor and the Real World?
33 years ago for Survivor.
What about the Real World? So like I was of the age when reality TV kind of started.
Yeah.
And so I even applied to be on the Real World. So I'm sure that the VHS tape is long gone, but I made a video to get on the Real World.
Oh my gosh. Do you have that still? Is that a thing we can share and look at? Or are you never going to show it to the world? Hello? Do we lose her? I think the people at MTV are shutting her down. What happened there? I don't. Nicole, did you mute? What happened to you? We lost you. Oh, she's offline. Something hung up on her. If she's on her phone, I bet she got a call. There she is.
While you're trying to.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
That's really weird. Do you still have this video someplace?
It was like the late 90s, and you were lucky to have a VHS to make one copy.
Yeah.
So it was like one take, send it off, cross your fingers. Maybe you'll get called, but I'm sure I was not extreme enough. I feel like I would be too level-headed. Like I just want everybody to get along.
Sure. No, you would have been the big peacekeeper in a season. So it looks like it was 90. It was 92, by the way. So we're now 20. Okay. Or no, I'm sorry, 34 years since that.
Up.
I know, dude. That's crazy.
Oh my God. So yeah, my kids will say things to me like, was that the olden days, the 80s? And I'm like, oh my God.
Well, to them it is like,
There's like a whole Bluey episode where the dad's talking about, it was the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, look at it this way, if this helps you. We are now further away from the 80s than we were from the 50s in the
Yes.
80s, which we thought was
Okay.
the olden days, right? So
Yes, exactly. And yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, so I will say I was really, really into reality TV when it first came out. It was very raw then. And since then, it has, I mean, it's a production. It's never been real, but it's even less real than it ever was. So I stopped watching all of it. And so this was interesting for me to watch a reality show and actually kind of get into it.
Mhm.
So Mateo was watching it. I would not let him watch the movie or the show. So when the show came out, I was working at his school. And this was an elementary school, and all the kids started emulating Squid Games. I'm like, who the hell are your parents? You're watching a show about people being killed. And they started emulating the games at recess, and it was this whole thing at the school. And I was just like, oh my God, I hate Squid Games. So I have this like instant, oh, I hate Squid Games. But in this reality show version, of course, nobody dies. And it's almost hilarious how they dramatically die when they get eliminated. Like, this is their acting debut. So it's kind of funny when they actually get eliminated. This little black ink thing goes off in their chest, and they go,
like squids.
So just that alone made me laugh quite a bit.
So I didn't see this. I never saw the series, the original series. I don't know why. I just never got around to it. Is that a thing in the series? Is that how people knew they were out because they
were actually killed?
Right.
In the series, like boom, you're dead, and blood and all of that.
Yeah.
So it was from a high stakes kind of perspective. In the reality show, of course, nobody died, but there are all of these horror stories coming out of the recording of this reality show, and how, even again, going back to, it's not reality, it's a production. The people that are producing this game have an idea of what they want to create the most drama. So that clip it's funny that you picked that clip, because that is a mother and son team that actually did make it through the first game, which is the red light, green light game.
Yeah.
And that's what it goes back to very simple games, red light, green light, rock, paper, scissors. So all of these old school playground games, which why the elementary school kids love to do it. But then when they fall down dead, that's not always so wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
death is hard.
But those two right there, apparently the mom was too slow.
Yeah.
And so they extended the time to get her into the show.
Oh, boo.
Yeah,
I hate
right?
that. I hate when they do that. That's why I don't like, that's why I don't trust them.
time.
We interviewed a guy.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. We interviewed a guy in Current Geek who, thanks to Hammond, I don't know if he's listening, but anyway, this guy did editing for Pawn Stars, Storage Wars, and I can't remember the other one. Oh, one of the Bachelorettes or something. And in every case, he said, we asked him, he says, well, how much of it percentage-wise, is just happening and you're filming it versus what you guys kind of contrive? And he says, oh, no, it's all contrived. All of it.
Yeah.
It's like you change everything. You make villains. You make people who aren't, opposite of villains. You take people out early because it makes for better TV. Like, none of this is real. So reality TV has a lying name to it, except for he says those early days, like the first season of Real World, wasn't like that. Those were just their personalities doing their thing. It wasn't a competition, but that makes a difference maybe. But he says that since then, you just can't trust any of this stuff. The closest you get are like Amazing Race, to some degree Survivor, but even then they really bake stuff up to be, villains and who's against who and all that. So yeah, I don't trust any of it. But I think I might find this entertaining.
Because I enjoyed it. We watched it to the end, and I was happy with the end.
Yeah.
there are some. It was funny watching Mateo get so invested in liking and not liking certain people, and so I used it as an opportunity to talk to him about the psychology of people and how certain people can think and act differently in different situations. And like, to him, things are pretty black and white right now. And people say what they mean and do what they say.
Right.
And watching shows like this kind of shows you, nope, not everybody thinks that way.
Yeah.
And so it just gave us an interesting vehicle to have conversations about friends and people that you think might be friends and all of that stuff that's so hard as you're growing up to kind of figure out. So
yeah,
it wasn't a bad show. I actually did enjoy it. Oh, there's my dog. Sorry.
Oh, which one? What's this
Both
dog?
of them are barking at something.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's their job. That's their job.
So the Squid Game is on Netflix.
Squid Game, the challenge, currently on Netflix.
Colon.
Yeah, there's a colon in there. Always get your colon checked. All right. All right. Here is mine for the week, and it is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life. It was when I went into it thinking there was a feeling of either I'm going to hate it or like it, and I came out liking it. Partly, I think I'm a little biased because I like his earlier work, but this is definitely one of the weirdest frickin' things I've ever seen in my entire life. And this is one I recommend. I'll tell you after this one that I think you all probably should avoid. I'll get to that in a second, but here's my clip.
One day you will meet a woman. The story of your meeting will change according to who tells it. That you were lost and she helped you find your way, or that she was off course and you guided her home. She will see your fears and your pain and your dreams and your potential. And you will see hers. In finding your other half, the gifts of your life will multiply. Sometimes she will look like a man to you.
All right. This is a fun one to end on there. This is Beau is Afraid from Ari Aster, both wrote and directed by him. If you don't know who that is, he's the dude what made his debut film or debut Hollywood film was Hereditary. And he followed that up with Midsummer.
Oh, yeah.
Midsummer also very depressing, or not depressing, very shocking and weird. Hereditary, much more horror movie, but also very weird. And this is so freaking weird. And I really liked it. A lot of people don't like it. I get it. Reviewers were not super kind to it. I talked to some personal friends who were like, I just can't. It's too weird for me. I totally get where these people are coming from, but I really am. I'm a fan of like things like The Lobster and Killing of the Sacred Deer, by that Yorgos Lanthimos or whatever his name is. I really like his stuff.
The Favorite, remember?
Oh yeah, The Favorite's very good. That's him.
Yeah,
that's also him. And he's got a new one out. The one Brian just saw. Forgot the name. The one with Emma in it. Forgot her last name. Anyway, whatever that one's called.
Oh yeah. Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. It's called.
And she's like, her eyes are like giant.
Yeah, she has big eyes. Poor Things. That's the new one. Anyway, I can't wait to see that. That guy's never let me down with his weirdness. Ari Aster, very similar vibes for me, but also often darker, a little more shocking, whatever. This story, I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, IMDb says this, and it's the most basic description I've ever heard. But maybe it works because what you're about to see is so insane. Following the sudden death of his mother, a mild-mannered but anxiety-ridden man confronts his darkest fears as he embarks on an epic Kafka-esque odyssey back home. That is one way of saying it, I suppose. But this is a long movie. It's almost 3 hours long.
3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's big.
Wow.
I recommend doing it in chunks. That's what I did. I did it in 3.
Or just read the
chunks.
Wikipedia like I've done with all the other movies.
Or do that. And also, if you are prone to anxieties of various kinds, I think this movie is not for you. Whoever out there is listening who may agree with that or feel that way, this may not be a good movie for you to watch. It is some of the best acting I've seen Joaquin Phoenix do. Other people like Amy Ryan are in this from, I don't know if you remember from The Office. She's the one that got Michael to leave The Office. Nathan Lane is in this in a very weird role. Nothing comedic really about it, although maybe it kind of is in some ways. Parker Posey's in this in the weirdest thing she's ever done by far.
And that's saying a lot because she's done some weird stuff.
Yep. And you know that kind of, he's an African-American actor who has like kind of shocking gray hair. Oh, he was in the first Dune Part 1 as the general that would like eyes would roll up and he'd do some calculations. Do you know who I'm talking about? Oh,
vaguely.
If you've seen Dune enough, you'll know who I mean. Anyway, that guy, his name's Stephen McKinley Henderson, and he is in every weird thing ever made. I love that guy. He's in this, plays a psychiatrist. I don't know how to. I don't know how else to describe it. People are either going to hate this thing or really enjoy it, and I really liked it because it showed me stuff I've never thought of before. It did some very uncomfortable things. It did some very, I thought, enlightening things. The whole middle section is super visually interesting. The first segment is crazy. I don't understand the ending at all, and I've gone on some deep holes to try to get some meaning out of it, and there's lots of theories, but I don't know what the hell happened there. I kind of think the whole thing's a bit of a fever dream, and it was just weird as hell, just so weird, and I really liked it. So I'm going to recommend it. It was on, let's see, I watched it on Prime, but I think it was because I have Paramount through Prime. So I think it's Paramount Plus. And it's weird as hell. I don't know how else to put it. It's just really, really freaking weird. And you'll know I mentioned that other stuff like The Lobster. If you watched The Lobster and went, oh, okay, I'm in, you'll be totally in. This is that kind of vein, that kind of movie, which doesn't need to
so weird.
It doesn't even need to make sense. It's just sort of, here's what we're presenting to you. Take it all in.
This is the world you're in.
This is the world you're in, and it's freaking weird. And I don't know why I appreciate that stuff, but I do. The one I'm going to recommend against, I started watching yesterday, and I haven't finished it. I'm not even sure I can. But I started watching Saltburn, which is just out. A lot of talk about it right now. People saying it's one of the most shocking films of the year. And when it started, I went, well, I don't see it yet. Where's the shock? And nothing here is really freaking me out yet. And then they got to the parts that people talk about, and I cannot believe this movie did what it did. It is also very weird, but not in the same way exactly. But it's so there's some horrifying stuff in there. I'll just say this:
yeah, I'll just be Wikipediaing all these movies.
To those who have seen it, I'll just say the vampire scene and the tub. I don't know if I can go on after those two things. And you know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. It's freaking weird. I don't think I recommend it. It's pretty jacked. In more ways than one. All right. There's our Reccamenntals for today. Pretty nice short one today.
Hey, what about Bobby?
Bobby didn't have one. Unless you want to, you got something on the side, Bobby, you want to throw out there? You just want to mention?
I just finished the last season of The Crown. That was good.
Oh, yeah, I got to catch up on that. Did you feel good about how it ended? And, nice long run?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good show. It's a great show.
Yeah, I liked it. That's a ringing endorsement, Bobby. Really ringing. Yeah, I saw the first.
Into the royal. I don't really like royalty.
Neither am I. I like that show for the it's a more of a historical take. I feel like I don't know how accurate it is. I don't even care how accurate it is. It was interesting. It held my attention.
The acting's very good.
The acting's amazing.
Yeah. It's like Game of Thrones without the fantasy or the constant sex scenes.
Do either of you guys like Stephen King? Scott, I know you.
I'm massive fan. Yeah.
Bobby, do you like Stephen King?
I've seen some Stephen King movies and I've always enjoyed the movies. I've never read the books. My wife is a huge Stephen King fan.
So I just finished because I do audiobooks now. I've found that I have trouble with reading books now. So I've converted myself to audiobooks, and I just finished Fairy Tale, and it was wonderful. And it I thought of the book after you said The Crown, because it talks about like royalty and like what kings and queens, what if they actually meant something? And so Stephen King kind of takes that and runs with it in this story. And it's, if you have the ability to listen to the book versus read it, it's just wonderfully narrated. And Stephen King even does a part in it.
Oh, he has is a multiple role kind of thing? Different people talking?
Yeah. Well, it's the main, one main guy reads the whole story and does different voices for the different characters. And then Stephen King comes in on a specific part. And you know it's a different actor just by, you could tell by the voice. But it's 24 hours long. But I went through it so fast because it was so good.
Wow, 24-hour book. That's crazy. I guess you could do that in one sitting as long as you eat and pee and stuff. It'd be fine.
Well, I did. I just listened to it in the car.
Oh man.
So
all right.
I highly recommend that if you're into like royalty and like the concept of that in a fairy tale setting with supernatural stuff. Stephen King's latest book, I think it came out last year, Fairy Tale.
Okay, I'll definitely check it
so
out.
Good.
I love me some. I haven't read a recent book in a while of his, so it's probably.
But
time.
you're a big Dark Tower fan.
Oh yeah, I've read that thing 4 times. I read The Stand 6 times.
I've never reread a book, and I just reread The Dark Tower Gunslinger first book.
I love that
I just
book.
finished it.
I love that
it. I was 16 when I read that, and so I was like, I wonder if I remember it as well as I think I remember.
Totally worth reading again, and it's and a lot of people think the first book's the weakest, but I actually love the way that book sets the world. I love it.
Yeah, he sets the stage in that whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, he's in the desert in a kind of a wasteland, and I'm prone to those things. I like that shit. Well, there you have it, Nicole. I hope your 2024 is awesome, and I can't wait to do this again next week. Yeah, and tell the family hi, and make them all play that video game that your son likes. How about that?
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
All right, Brian will probably retroactively shove all that into the. I don't have access to it, so he'll put it in the quicktms.li at some point, so you guys will be able to follow it there. Okay. I think we're about there. I'm going to do a thing. Where is it? Oh, you know what? I have to... No, I'm saving it. I got to save it because Brian needs to hear it, so we'll do it. I'll save that one for Brian. But I will tell you this at the end of today's show. I picked a cool cover this week, okay?
Nice.
I did. Me. And let me tell you what it is.
You get the credit.
I've talked to Brian a bit about this during the week. He showcased it on his countdown this year for Coverville. And I just wanted everybody to hear the whole thing if you haven't heard it. So today, we're ending the show with that War Pigs cover from T-Pain. And you're like, T-Pain, come on, the freaking rapper guy who uses what's the word? I always forget the name of the thing. What's it called where you make your
Auto-tune?
voice? Auto-tune. The auto-tune guy, isn't that him? Yeah, that's him. But he turns out has an insane voice that I did not give him credit for before. And this cover of War Pigs is so good that you're all going to hear it today. All right? Them's the rules. That's the way it's going to go. What are you going to do? Sue me? All right? Anyway, that's coming up here after the show. Big thanks to everybody who supports us on Patreon. Patreon.com/TMS is how you do it. You'll never get commercials. You'll get pre-show content and post-show content every day. Couch parties, art in the mail, and so much more. One only needs to go read about it to learn. That's at patreon.com/TMS. And big thanks to all our brand new folks we've had already in January. We really appreciate you guys. Bobby, tell people about the show you do and why people should listen to it.
Well, I do a show called All Around Science. It's a weekly science podcast. Me and my co-host Maura, we just talk about science. What's going on in the science news, the things that we're interested, things we've read about that were interesting in science, and just we like to geek out about science. And it's the reason I think people would like this show is that it's not like other science podcasts in that we're scientists or science journalists or anything like that who are digging deep and all this kind of stuff. We're just regular, we're just science lovers who just are talking about science. So we try to make it as approachable as possible because we're not experts, and we have some people on to talk about things every once in a while. But, for the most part, it's her and I just nerding out about what we enjoy about science, and we try to teach people something every episode. So
there you go.
All around science is what it is. Oh, we had an episode released on Monday, or no, it wasn't Monday. We just recorded a live episode last night. That's what it was. And I learned all about these cute little birds that teach people. They're called honey guides, and they teach people. Or not teach people, but they lead people to beehives.
Really?
And they commute. The African tribes, local tribes, will communicate with them, and they have special calls that they call out to the birds. The birds have special calls that they use only to guide humans to beehives. It's really interesting.
So birds are weird, right? I think they're pretty weird.
Birds are pretty amazing.
Yeah. Every once in a while, you'll see a dumb one like a pigeon will bunk its head and fall into a ditch or, something dumb.
Right.
That's not a specific example that I actually saw, but I'm just trying to think. Pigeons are sort of stupid. But then you see these birds sometimes where like that, they're communicating with people and leading them to bees of all things. But like crows, how they have like more vocal range than any animal alive outside of humans.
Crows and ravens are amazing. They both belong to the corvid group. I don't know if it's group or family or whatever, but they're both corvids, and corvids are just like so intelligent.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. We don't give birds enough freaking, I don't know, credit. Or maybe we do. Maybe we give them too much credit. Maybe we need to thin the herd, if you know what I'm saying. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Too much competition.
Too much competition.
We're the smartest.
That's right. We are at the top of this damn food chain, not your corvids. All right, we're gonna go now. There's that song I'm telling you about that we're gonna play here at the end, and once again, it is War Pigs by T-Pain. It's his cover of War Pigs, the amazing classic that is War Pigs. And we'll be back tomorrow. How Brian will be feeling, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, he's getting tons of rest today and getting over whatever the hell this thing is. Bobby, big thanks again for being here with me.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Those live here right now, stick around. We'll have a little post show, pick some titles, all that fun stuff. So that's all coming up next. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Get more at frogpants.com.
Tremendous bangs.
Oh, tremendous bangs.